Hi everybody, good evening. It's nice greeting everybody at the door and having some comments about it's nice to do events like this. We've been kind of not able to for the last couple of years, so this is great. Welcome to our MECC literacy evening event. No fancy name, just got a little stuck there. Our teachers are fantastic. They've worked really hard on putting this together. Mrs. Santos, Mrs. Lord in particular. A bunch of our other teachers are upstairs with students, keeping them busy a little bit so that we could give a little presentation for you guys. So we have snacks. We have popcorn and water that we're going to give out a little bit later. We hope if you have allergies, just don't have the popcorn, I guess. We didn't make it allergy aware, so we wanted to have some sort of refreshment for people. It's going to be a great night. We're going to get some good information to you guys. We're going to have some good time to hang out with the kiddos and do some reading. So with that being said, is that you, Ms. Ford?
Yes.
There you go.
Not used to talking into a mic. Hello, everybody, and welcome. So we wanted to have this night to be able to give you some strategies to work at home in helping your children and read. And we have Miss Amanda here from the library. She's going to talk a little bit about some summer reading. This slideshow, don't worry about trying to catch up on all the information or taking notes or any screenshots or anything like that. This will be sent out in Mr. Gobiel's weekly newsletter, so you will have all of this information. We will be giving out some bags. Did I just turn this off? Some bags? Yes, I did. Hold on one second. There we go. I hit the mute button. Apparently hit the mute button. So we are going to be giving out some bags later, and in that bag is a reading strategies bookmark. So these are some of the reading strategies that your children are used to hearing when they are reading leveled books in the classroom. So the first one that we always talk about, the children are pointing to each word with their finger, and we always say, get your mouth ready. So that means when their finger is under the word, they look at that first sound, and their mouth is saying the first sound of the word. So that's the first strategy in trying to solve a word that they don't know. The next thing is eagle eye, and that's looking at the picture. I've heard from so many different families over the years that they said, well, they're just looking at the picture and they're not even looking at the word. We teach them that strategy. We're teaching them to look at the word, then look at the picture. Sometimes with just those two strategies, they are able to solve what the word is. So that is eagle eye. The next one, if looking at the picture, saying the beginning sound, and really still not sure what the word is, then we ask them to stretch it out. And that's just saying all the sounds in the word. So if it is the word snake, for instance, they would say snake. And by saying all of those sounds, hopefully that would help them to solve the word. So on our next slide, we have some strategies that we use after those beginning three. And these get into a little bit higher level text. The first one is chunky monkey, and that is looking for any type of chunk in the word that they might recognize. It could be a smaller sight word. If they know the word am, and they see a name in the book, Pam, they might recognize, oh, I see am in there. Even seeing is, or seeing blends or digraphs that we teach, like CH says ch, SH. So just getting them to really look at those chunks, that is the next step after saying each sound. Well, sometimes you might notice a chunk, ING, we call it king of ing. So they might see that chunk at the end of the word and actually be able to chunk out the word. And then flippy dolphin is, we are teaching them the short vowel sounds and the long vowel sounds. So if when they're sounding out the word, they're saying the short vowel sound, and it doesn't sound like a word, or it doesn't make sense in the book, try flipping the vowel sound and saying the long vowel instead of the short vowel sound. And then sometimes just reading the rest of the sentence. It doesn't work so well with, say, level A or 1 text where it's I see the cat. Well, if you skip the word cat, there's nothing else to do. But when you have longer sentences, sometimes just skipping the word that they're not sure what it is and reading the rest of the sentence, it might help them know what the previous word is. And then try and lion is just that we never give up. And keep trying, try a word that makes sense, and then they can go on from there and try and solve the word. So on our next slide, I'm going to have Ms. Paling talk about errors when they're reading.
Hi everybody, sorry I was in late. I thought I was going to be sweating enough, and then I did a dead sprint to the nurse's office to get a Band-Aid, and now I'm up here in this flannel pajamas feeling rather toasty. My name is Carly Paling. I'm one of the kindergarten teachers here. For the past few years I've also been working as a literacy coach and a reading specialist, kind of multitude, so this is like right up my alley, and one of the things that I love about teaching so much is the teaching and learning of reading. So thank you all for coming and helping support your young learner in this process. So this is where it explains some of those tricky words, strategies, and things that the kiddos are used to hearing or will get used to hearing in kindergarten when they encounter a tricky word. Some other things that we're constantly just hoping that kiddos do and teaching them to do while they're reading is something called self-monitoring or self-correcting, and there's 3 questions up here that we're always teaching them to use throughout their reading every single time. So we'll ask them to ask themselves, does it sound right? So are they reading for syntax, basically? So does that sentence that you just read, if you said, I skip over the, I don't know, house, I don't know, that's a really poor example, but does that sound right? Does that sound like how we would speak in English language? Does that sound right?
Or I goed to the park.
I goed to the park, thank you, much better example. Did that sound right? Is that how we normally talk, teaching your young reader to ask themselves that question, to either fix it if they have made an error or confirm their thinking, yeah, that sounded right, that's how I talk. Sometimes with kindergartners, they'll say, I eat the spaghetti, and yes, to them that does sound right. So, but just teaching them how to do that. Does it look right? So that is, the eagle eye and lift the fish, getting their mouth ready to read. So does that word look like it should say bunny, or does it look like it should say rabbit? That's one that they often make an error on. So just getting them to ask themselves, does that look right? Does that look like that word should say bunny? Yeah, how do I know? Because it starts with the letter B. And then the third one is, does it make sense? So really the biggest thing is reading for meaning. Did that make sense, what I just read? And do the words that I just read match what is happening in the story? Does it match the picture? So just getting them to ask themselves those 3 questions is what we're hoping that they do throughout their reading, whether they're reading the lowest level book or as they grow and grow with their skills. So those are definitely 3 questions that you can ask them at home. Wait a minute, does that look right? Even if they have it right, does that look right? Does that sound right? Does that make sense? It's going to help them. And then, as you're reading with your child, these are some things that we do at school, but certainly things that you can do at home before you read a book. Have them look at the cover, maybe predict what they think the book might be about. Ask what they might know already about the topic, or make predictions, things like that. Just build excitement. Why do you think you want to read this? What do you think this book might be about? During reading, you can pause and talk about what's happening in the story, make some predictions of what might happen next, ask them what they like in the story. The kids at the MECC are very familiar with hearing the words, what do you notice? What do you wonder? So they're super able to do this, and certainly things that you can do at home, with a bedtime story. And then after reading, same thing, ask them questions about the story. Talk about the characters in the book. Did they like the story? Did they not like the story? Why or why not? Again, they're super used to doing this at school, and if they're entering K, they will get used to doing this. I barely even get the book closed in my classroom, and all the hands are up like, oh, I noticed, or can you go back to the page because I'm really wondering about this. So any further work that you can do with that at home is going to benefit your child. I don't know off the top of my head who the quote was by, but there's like this famous quote, children become readers on the laps of their parents. And you being here tonight and coming and bringing your child to something as simple as a literacy night is already you promoting their literacy lives and their literate lives. So thank you for bringing them. Thank you for reading with your child at home. And next is Miss Amanda, the lovely children's librarian at the Middleborough Public Library.
Not in pajamas.
You're lucky because I'm sweating.
I'm still sweating. So my name is Amanda Meyer, and I am the librarian in the Youth Services Department right across the street at the public library. And before you go tonight, you're welcome to stop, talk to me about the library, pick up materials. I have some sheets with the library hours. I have library card registrations, all sorts of fun things for you to check out, do at the library. Of course, you're all here, so you think reading's important. We'll take a little stretch break. How many of you have heard of the summer slide? Raise your hands. Have you heard of the summer slide? We're getting interactive. Okay, great. Yeah, the summer slide is when summertime comes. We're not in regular school. We're not seeing our teachers on a daily basis, and students can lose up to 2 months of learning in the summer. But when they join things like summer reading, when they read together at home, even just 6 books over the summertime can actually help them get that learning back, those months that they might lose back. And when they come back to school, they'll be better prepared for first grade or kindergarten. They'll be better prepared for not just reading, but also math. There's a great connection between reading and math. In your bags, there are some bookmarks that talk about the importance of summer reading. You are all welcome to join the library summer reading program. It's open to anyone, ages babies all the way up to grown-ups. Yes, there's a program for you too. And what better way to be a role model than join summer reading yourself? And then you guys can do it as a family. On the links, we don't have to go to all the links, but it's very easy to sign up for the summer program. You can do it all online or on an app. The directions are right on the library's website. You'll see reading programs, and that'll get you all signed up. Plus, you've got information in your bags about summer reading.
And your contact information is on there too.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, you can always get in touch with me. But we're very excited. The children get a chance to earn virtual tickets that they can put towards big prizes like Lego sets and gift certificates and books, of course, games, all sorts of other things just by reading. So we know how important it is. Why not try to reward them a little bit for that as well?
Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Mrs. Santos. I'm the interventionist here, and I'm just going to talk about what you have in your literacy bags that you will be taking home with you tonight from the library. I know Miss Amanda just talked a little bit about it, but you will see the why summer reading is important. So I'll have Mrs. Lord show you what that looks like. And then we also have, let's see, the summer reading program theme stack.
So sorry, friends.
So that will explain the summer reading program a little bit and give you some information on how to access that link. And then the leveled reader book list. So that's a nice little pamphlet that the library actually has a lot of leveled readers now, so it's perfect for pre-K and kindergarten students. So definitely if you go to the library this summer, you should ask Miss Amanda or whoever's at the desk if they can show you where that area is, because it will be perfect for your beginning readers.
Yep, and it explains a little bit the difference of what's the difference in the different leveled texts, just so you know what is appropriate for your child.
Definitely. From the school, the first thing we have is ways to help your reader. So it's a little pamphlet, front and, so there's 2 different sides. So one side, I'll just that one, okay. One side just has some different reading ideas, like reading bedtime stories, writing down a recipe for your child's favorite food and reading it together, things like that. And then there's a few reading tips on here, like don't ever leave home without a book, because kids can look at books in the car or on a vacation, things like that. And then on the back, it's ways to help your reader. Just a couple of things on here are like set a good example. So if they see you reading, then maybe they'll want to pick up a book more often or read along with you. And just discussing books. Buying books on CD is a great possibility for the car. I know my kids love to listen to books in the car or even at home. And also having them notice print beyond books, so environmental print like store signs or even cereal packages or cracker packages. Just having them look at those things a little bit more is a great thing for them to do. The next thing is the reading strategy bookmark. So there's a little laminated bookmark in there, and that's just what Mrs. Lord already spoke about, all the strategies. So you can have them just keep that wherever they keep their collection of books and have them try it out. And actually we're going to ask you tonight if you want your child to use that during the family reading time. Pull that out and they can try to use it while they read some books to you tonight. The next one is the Title I Homeschool Compact. That's from Mrs. Latender, and you can take a look at that. And if you have any questions, you can definitely email Mrs. Latender. She couldn't be here tonight, but she did want to make sure that you get that. And then the last three are just kind of like the fun ones for the kids. We have some glow stars in there, so you can have your kids do whatever they want. They can do crafts with those, or just to kind of go along with the glow theme. Finger flashlights, they can use those tonight. So there's a little button that they press and they can stick their finger in there with the little elastic to do their reading. And then a glow stick necklace is the last thing. So you'll just need to help them kind of crack it a little bit to get it going, and they should be good to go for their. We'll turn the lights out soon, and they can have some glow stick reading time with you. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn down the lights. Mr. Gobi is going to go round up the students, and we are going to have them grab a bag now, or wait till the kids start coming in. You want to come around? Yeah. Okay. We can come around and start passing them out. One per MECC student. Yes, and if you have any siblings, if you could just maybe raise your hand, and I'll come around with sibling bags. If you want them, the sibling bags just have the glow stick, the finger flashlight, and the stars. So if you have any siblings, you can raise your hand, and I'll come around to you for that.
And once your children come back in, then you can, we're going to set up the little book bins, and there's a sticker on your bag. All the book bins are numbered, so you'll just go to the bin that matches your number. You can get cozy with your blanket or towel and read with your child, and then we'll gather back to listen to a story from Miss Amanda.
And there's a couple of different types of books in there, you'll see. So some of them look like probably a book that maybe your child definitely couldn't read. So those are more like a read aloud book where you would just sit and read it to them if you want to do that style of reading. Or you can also have your kids try to read some of the books in there, because I did put some levels so that they are low enough for your pre-K, depending on the student, might have a little bit of a hard time, but the kindergartners should be able to hopefully find a book that should be comfortable for them to read to you. So you can do either or, and maybe you'll have time for both.
There's two in this.